Good morning. It is a beautiful Friday morning. I got up early to go to work. Work was slow, so I thought I would come to the park and read my Bible. And I prayed before, there's a reason for this. I prayed before I read that God would open up my mind so that I could understand what He's saying. Because I'm in Mark, the book of Mark, and he talks a lot of parables. Some of them I don't understand, and some of them I'm like, that makes sense. But I don't usually pray for understanding. I usually just pray, thank you for your word. So today I changed it up and asked for understanding. And I'm right there with everybody else. We're all very, very frustrated because we didn't understand the prophecy given to Joshua last year completely. We didn't understand what everything meant. There was other human interpretation that confused a lot of people. So I'm right there with you. I'm just as frustrated, but I'm still looking for the blessed hope of Jesus Christ to come save us. And I have not counted that prophecy false yet. And I won't, because I do believe truly that Jesus did appear to Joshua. I truly believe Jesus did give Joshua a message for the world to wake the world up. If he hadn't done that, where would we all be right now? Where would you be? I know I would still be living my life like I was, and I needed to be woken up. So, that was a little backstory. I was reading Mark 8:22. Jesus heals a blind man in Bethsaida. I'm going to read it really quick. It's very fast. It's only a couple verses. Jesus and the disciples. They came to Bethsaida, and some people brought a blind man and begged Jesus to touch him. He took the blind man by the hand and led him outside the village. Right there, I was like, why outside the village? I don't understand that. So I just kept reading. When he had spit on the man's eyes and put his hands on him, Jesus asked, "Do you see anything?" And then right there, I stopped again and went, why would Jesus need to ask if he can see anything? Because if Jesus is healing him and Jesus knows he healed him, he would know that he could see. So that was my question. He looked up and said, "I see people. They look like trees walking around." I highlighted that. We'll come back to that. Once more, Jesus put his hands on the man's eyes. Then his eyes were opened. His sight was restored. He saw everything clearly. Jesus sent him home, saying, "Don't even go into the village." So my guess is the man didn't live in the village. He lived outside the village somewhere else, and was found and was brought to the village where Jesus was. So Jesus took him out of the village, out of the place where all the people were, all the unbelievers, took him outside, healed him, and said, go home. Basically, don't even go back to that village. Okay, so I read that, and I'm sitting here just looking at it like, oh my gosh. I know other people have mentioned this briefly, and they don't touch on it enough, but that's what this video is going to be. It's going to be a short video, but it's like, wow, Lord. So when he took the man outside the village and he spit on the man's eyes and put his hands on him, Jesus asked, "Do you see anything?" And the man said, "I see people. They look like trees walking around." So at first, Jesus partially heals him, and he partially sees. He doesn't see everything clearly. He sees sort of what he thinks it looks like, right? He didn't see everything clearly, and it made me think about how we've been going this whole last year. It's just each time we get a little bit more information to provide manna to our soul and our minds to keep us going. And but we don't see the full picture yet. And what was interesting is I've been watching since last year, as most of us have. And I had a jogger come right by my window. My window's open. And I was a little weirded. I thought she was coming right to my window, so I waited. But it's like when we think something's going to happen next month, so then we wait till next month, and then it doesn't, and then we search certain people in our community are searching more for more food, and they get it, and they get a better understanding of what was said. It's like we see in part. There's scripture that says we see in part, but later we will see fully. I don't know where that scripture is, but I know it's a scripture. So I think what's going on is Jesus is giving us enough manna to feed us, enough information to carry us, to fill our oil, to keep our faith going, to say, I am coming. Here's another piece. Just go a little further. Just go a little further, And then when we get to that point and we think it meant something, and we find out it meant something different, and then we get more information to continue further, because there is an end game. There is an end game. There's a moment where, I heard something yesterday. It was really cool. It was, you wait forever for something so wonderful, and then one day it's tomorrow. And I heard it yesterday somewhere. I don't remember where I heard it, but I thought, wow, that is exactly what we're doing. We are waiting for Jesus to come and rapture us. We are waiting and waiting and waiting. It's been a year. For some people, it's been their whole life. For others, it's been maybe a few years. And for some other people, it's, a year or maybe a few weeks, because they're a new Christian or they've been newly saved. And then they're like, wow, what? The rapture? What? So it's a different timeline for different people who have been on different walks. But soon it will be tomorrow. Just keep your faith, keep your hope in Jesus. Don't let people tear you down. And if you've got people around you that are talking against your belief, just stop hanging around them. Stop talking to them. Talk to other people. Talk to people that will encourage you. Listen to videos that will encourage you. And avoid, if you can, those people that are mocking and scoffing. That's going to be online everywhere. And it could even be in our families and our friends who think we're nuts, and maybe we started a year ago with some friend or family or friends and nothing's happened yet, and they're like, yeah, I told you. Don't let that discourage you, because if you understand the spiritual world, it's God against Satan. It's Jesus against Satan. It's heaven against hell. It's good against bad. It's spiritually a battle. No matter where you are, what you're doing, it's a spiritual battle. So when somebody's coming against you, look at them and realize it's the enemy coming against you, because he doesn't want you to believe, because he doesn't want you to go to heaven. That's just plain and simple. So then at the very end, once more, Jesus put his hands on the man's eyes. Then his eyes were opened. His sight was restored, and he saw everything clearly. There will be a day when we will see everything clearly. So when something happens and we all get on that bandwagon and we're all hoping and it doesn't happen, then Jesus gave us some food for our journey. He didn't give it all to us, because keep in mind, he doesn't want the enemy to know when the rapture is. The enemy doesn't know. And what was I going to say? Oh, when the time is right, in Jesus' timing, he will give us the full picture. He will clear our minds so we see everything in full. We can keep praying and say, Lord, give us more information. Lord, give us more manna. Feed our souls. Feed our minds so we understand what's going on. So we understand what to look for. So, We know it's not going to be 10 years down the road. I mean, look at the world. It's definitely soon. I'm just going to say soon. And I just want this video to be an encouragement to you that even in this little bitty blurb right here of scripture just screams so much information that even back then, I want to, right before that, the scripture right before that is what got me started on thinking this, because even in the healing of the blind man, Jesus had to do it twice. He gave him a little bit of sight so he could see a little bit, and then he gave him the full clear healed his eyes fully so he could see clearly. What does it say? I'm screwing it up. So he saw everything clearly. Right before these scriptures, verse 22, there's verse 21. This is when, right around the time when Jesus fed the 4,000, and before that he fed the 5,000. Then he speaks to his disciples about the yeast of the Pharisees and Herod. Beware of the yeast of the Pharisees, because one bad seed can expand in a huge crowd. And Jesus says this. So Jesus says, be careful, Jesus warned them. Watch out for the yeast of the Pharisees and that of Herod. They discussed this with one another and said, it is because we have no bread. They had gone out and they didn't bring any bread with them, and they were talking about being hungry and they didn't have any bread. So the disciples thought Jesus was talking about the yeast of the Pharisees, connecting to the fact they didn't have any bread. They had a very misguided misunderstanding of what Jesus was saying. Aware of their discussion, Jesus asked them, why are you talking about having no bread? Do you still not see or understand? So keep in mind, we're humans living in the world today, and we continually don't understand what Jesus is trying to tell us. Back then, even the disciples didn't know, and they walked with him. So there's a reason for it. Jesus is teaching them. There's a reason for this. Do you still not see or understand? Are your hearts hardened? Do you have eyes but fail to see, and ears but fail to hear? And don't you remember when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000? How many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up? 12, they replied. So they went through it. They saw the miracle. They saw Jesus feeding people, and yet they still didn't understand what it meant. And when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up? They answered, 7. So again, they saw the miracle. They saw Jesus giving food to people, and they understand they picked up extra pieces, so they saw the miracle. He said to them, do you still not understand? And I'm going to be plain and simple right here. Transparent is all get out. I don't understand what that represents. I know that I have watched, might be very odd that I watched, somebody I watched referred back to when they were doing their teaching, they referred back to when Jesus fed the 5,000 and the 4,000, and it meant something there. This connects to a teaching, but I don't, just reading it plainly, I don't understand either. And Jesus says to them, do you still not understand? So if back then the disciples walking with him still don't understand what he's doing, it's not unnatural for us to not understand what Jesus is trying to tell us. So with that said, my encouragement is to, if you are one who doesn't believe what's going on is really what's going on, be kind. There's no reason for you to mock. There's no reason for you to bring someone else down. If someone wants to believe, let them believe. How is it hurting you? If somebody wants to post a message that Jesus is coming, the rapture is going to happen, who are you to get on there and just make them feel like crap by saying it's never going to happen, there's no rapture, it's not going to happen for 10 more years? Don't even bother doing that, because all you're doing is bringing something negative to someone and making them feel bad. And that's not the Christian way. That's not the way that Jesus wants us to live. If you don't understand or don't believe them, leave them alone. Let them have their excitement. If they want to believe in something, let them believe in it. If you're someone who does believe in it, then let this be encouragement that Jesus doesn't give us all the food all at the same time. He carries us along to get to that end point. If he had given us the understanding fully last year, what would we have done this whole year? We would have gone back to sleep, more than likely, spiritually, because we would have said, okay, the rapture's not going to happen until the end of 2026 in the fall. Okay, so we have a year. And then you get caught up in your worldly life. You get caught up in your regular routine. You get caught up in, I've got time. I can do that later. I can talk to so-and-so later. I have a year. That's not what Jesus wants us to do. He wants us to continually live expectantly. Paul, when he wrote his books, you can see it in his writings. He was like urgent. He's living for Christ like Jesus is coming back today. That's how Jesus wants us to live. Live like he's coming back today. And save as many people as you can, as many souls as you can. However that may be, or just live righteously. If you're like me and you're an introvert and you'd rather do a video versus talk to somebody in person, live righteously. Live the way God has told us to live. Be a example. Let people see you living righteously. Let people see you living good. Do good things for other people. Be that neighbor. Like the guy on the road. Was it the road to Damascus? He was on a road somewhere. And he got robbed and all his clothes got stolen. And wait, that's not the parable I was thinking about. That's not the story I was thinking about. Oh, yes, it is. The Pharisees were saying, well, who's my neighbor on that story? Because Jesus says, take care of your neighbor. And the Pharisees say, well, who's my neighbor? And he tells that story. Basically, the neighbor is you. Be good to everybody. Be a good neighbor to everyone, no matter who they are. Let people see you being a good neighbor. Live righteously. So, that's all I was going to say. I totally stopped in my train of thinking. I just wanted to share that scripture that I read and the understanding that I got, that Jesus gives us a little bit at a time on purpose. And then when the time comes, when Jesus says it's okay now, he will clear everything up. He will give us understanding of everything, and we'll see everything clearly. So be encouraged. And also, little side note, I also post, not every day, but every 2 or 3 days, I'll put a post up. If I see a video I think is important, I put it on my posts. If scripture comes up on my phone and I think it's beautiful and I feel led, then I share it on my posts, just to help people see beautiful scripture where God's leading us each day. So go check out my posts as well, for a little more in between these videos, because I don't do these videos very often. Only when I feel led to share some information. So be blessed, be encouraged, and keep holding on, and keep your oil full. Keep your faith strong. And if you're struggling, keep praying that God will fill you with his strength to get through and endure what you need to endure until he comes to get us. Be blessed.